Hello everybody, welcome to a Train Sim World for not really suggestions, not really news. I just wanted to make a video on Union Workshop. I've been wanting to make a video on them for quite some time, and I've only just got around to doing that. And they're on the roadmap. They've been confirmed for a while now as being the next main third-party developer. I think there's another third-party developer that's still unnamed sitting on the roadmap, so we'll have to wait and see who that is. Probably, well, almost certainly Alan Thompson Sim. But anyway, Union Workshop, and I think that's not certain, and certainly don't take anything I say as gospel. But I think their first route for Train Sim World will be the Wakayama and Sakurai lines. I am going to butcher all of these pronunciations because I am not Japanese. I do not speak even the smallest slither of Japanese. So please don't be offended when I inevitably mispronounce literally everything that is in Japanese. So why do I think this is likely? Simply because it is the most popular of their routes for Train Sim Classic. And when I mean popular, I mean the one that has the most positive reviews. And it has sort of double the amount of positive reviews of even the next most popular, I guess, by that metric. So it's a reasonably successful route. I don't think, I mean, it's quite a niche market, but I think bringing it to Train Sim World would be a fair bit more popular if they can pull it off. And basically, Union Workshop, it's either a small collection of Japanese routes or a smaller collection of Chinese routes. But the only two Chinese routes they've done are some high-speed line, I think, and the Shanghai Transrapid. And the Shanghai Transrapid is an awful route, mostly negative reviews, whereas most of their Japanese stuff is positive, and this one has the most positive reviews. And I suspect it's going to be the most interesting as well. So let's stop the dilly-dally. The route, so there's two lines, the Wakayama and the Sakurai, but not all of them. Now, I'm basically just copying this straight out of what they made for Train Sim Classic. I'm not tinkering with anything else because I just don't know enough. And they probably would stay with the original, what they did for Train Sim Classic. So the two lines start at Takada and go to Gojo. This just feels wrong. Feels wrong me trying to awfully pronounce these, but I mean, there's no alternative. And Sakurai as well. Both of these lines, for the most part, are single track with passing loops. Obviously, in Japan, they've got one of the most rigid timetable structures in the world, so you know, if there's a small enough timetable, they can make it work on single track. It's, as with the rest, well, almost all of Japan, it's 3 foot 6 inch or 1067mm narrow gauge, 1500 volt DC overhead electrification, maximum speed of 85 kilometers per hour, so that's fairly slow. The Wakayama line has 8 stations, that is in pink on that map, and is 23.9 kilometers long. The Sakurai line is 5 stations and 9.3 kilometers long. So not super long, and I think that bodes well. Maybe if they were doing it, they might flick off the Sakurai line, perhaps, and just focus on a smaller section, but I mean, I thought Just Trains would do the same thing, and they didn't. Obviously, this isn't Just Trains, and their commitment to detail might be slightly less, but we'll see. So the two pieces of rolling stock, again, I'm taking this straight out of what they made for Train Sim Classic, are the 103 series and the 105 series. We'll start with the 103 series. They're old trains, introduced in 1963. So well over 50 years old, 60 years old now. So yeah, very old, and you can tell. It's just a box with a window and a light on the front, really. There are only 63 that remain in service, according to Wikipedia, as of 2019. So, they might have been withdrawn since then. I don't know how reputable English language Wikipedia on Japanese railways are. But there were originally 3,447 examples. So, quite a significant cutback. And almost all of them were scrapped, with only a few preserved. But, I mean, they're still in service. As you can sort of see in this screenshot, and there are other ones as well, they're 4 cars long, although I know they can go up to 10 cars long and down to 2 cars long, but I suspect they'll be 4 cars long. Unless they're married pairs, and just all married pairs in every screenshot. And they've got a maximum speed of 100, but that can't be achieved on this route. The 105 series is slightly more modern, only about 42. They were first entered service in 1981. There are 84 examples in service, so slightly more numerous. They can be in 2 or 4 coach formations, and they also have a maximum speed of 100. Both of them run on their overhead electrification. And these are all the screenshots from the Train Sim Classic route. And to be honest, they're quite good for Train Sim Classic. Like, they're reasonably well detailed, so, bodes well, because they can do texturing quite well, it would appear. Now, I really can't talk much about this route because I don't know it, and I haven't researched it enough to identify where all of these photos were taken, but obviously we've got a 105 series and a 103 series. Again, I don't know much about this station. Perhaps it's Takada, because it's got 3 platforms instead of 1, which I would expect on most of the stations here. I guess we'll move on. This is the inside of what I think is a 105 series. Relatively well detailed, especially considering it's for Train Sim Classic. 103 series on a single track section. 103 series on a level crossing, a funky looking level crossing. Inside the cab of 103 series, this looks very strange. Certainly different to anything that I've ever seen before, but it's an entirely different railway culture, and it's just different. It feels almost European, but just there's stuff. It's sufficiently off that it just doesn't feel right. I think we've already seen this. Another level crossing with some leaves falling, so it's an interesting mechanic. I don't think that is a thing in Train Sim World, but maybe they'll make it. I don't know. Become the Rivet Games moths. Again, more 103 series. And some release estimates for you. I reckon, obviously, regardless of what specific route it is, I think whatever Union Workshop make will release in the second quarter of 2024, possibly the third. I don't think we can expect it before then. Remember, Just Train's route took at least a year to develop, and Union Workshop almost certainly have a smaller team than Just Train's. Just like Just Trains, they have to learn the Train Sim World ecosystem. It's a totally new region, and there are technical barriers to that. There's the first 3-foot 6-inch route that potentially the first 3-foot 6-inch route we're going to get. Rivet shows that we can have narrow gauge, but going to be interesting to see how that works. It's, the first of that overhead electrification. Very different trains, very different everything, very different assets. They have to make all their own assets, more or less. And it'll just be interesting to see how that all works, assuming it is a Japanese route, which I think it will be. And also, if the roadmap is to be believed and trusted, they started development on this a little bit later than Just Trains. And Just Trains, again, took, the best part of a year to develop Blackpool. And we still don't know yet on this. So, who knows? Maybe we'll get it sooner. Almost certainly not this year. But yeah, again, don't take anything I say for gospel. This is all just me guessing. Educated guess, but guesswork nonetheless. And with that, it's more or less everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a fantastic day, and goodbye.